Hello YouTube, yes I have got new glasses, but that is not what this video is about. Well, I guess this video is going to kind of talk about how we see and interpret things, but that has nothing to do with my glasses. In actual fact, this video is a response to Kevin's video on Hipsters he did a couple of weeks back, where he was arguing that if a show has so many people watching it and engaging in it, then might it actually be worse than things that might not have a lot of people following it or being interested in it? And to some extent, I believe Kevin may be right. Most of the shows on TV today are organised and chosen by the TV companies and the TV channels on what they want to show and what's going to get the most ratings and what's going to get the most views. And most of the time, those shows are shows that people already watch and have a big, large following. And the writers want to keep that following because they want the show to keep going so they can get paid and so they can keep their jobs in the show. And so does the writing try to incorporate all the different aspects? And by trying to incorporate all the different aspects and making everybody happy, does the writing actually get worse? Well, that's what Kevin was trying to argue, and I think, yeah, it does. For some shows. And the reason I think it only gets worse for some shows is it depends on the type of show. The biggest example here is Doctor Who. Now, I will admit Doctor Who hasn't been as good recently as it has been in earlier years, and it's still better than most of the stuff on TV, and it has a pretty big following. So why hasn't the writing been getting progressively bad as it has been in other shows, at least from my perspective? Well, with Doctor Who, you can kind of do anything and still keep within the storyline. You can go anywhere, you can see anything, and you can put in more characters and create different universes and everything, and writers come and go and the actors keep on changing. It's new, it's fresh, it's a changing show. I think that's one of the most important things, that if a show is constantly changing and evolving, then it doesn't have that effect of trying to appeal to everybody, because everybody already knows that the show is going to change. It's going to have a different actor, it's going to have different writers, and people get invested in that, and that's why Doctor Who has been around for so long. But with shows like Neighbours, Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, NCIS, and a lot of other shows in those genres, crime, drama, whatever, the stories don't really change. They keep on reusing the old writing because that's what works, and that's what kept a lot of viewers, and a lot of people don't realise this. A lot of people love their favourite show and they don't want to hear really any arguments against it. Why? Because I think everybody else loves that show. And you don't want to be seen as different. And when somebody might come along and start criticising it, you're like, no, it's good. It's been around for a long time. It's there. It shouldn't ever end. I'll enjoy it. And the writing gets worse. So are hipsters onto something? Do they realise that something with heaps and heaps of people isn't necessarily good? And I'm not talking here about just the big trolls or criticisers who just criticise something for the sake of criticising something. I'm talking about people who have really thought hard about what they like and why they like it, about the big criticism. So is it possible that Big Bang Theory just isn't really good writing and everybody loves it because everybody loves it? There's a possibility. Since I can't speak for everybody, I can't speak for the average person, I only know what I like and what I think. And I think my views are pretty on par with Kevin. Well, how can we stop this? Well, we could all stop watching TV, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think there are a few ways that this phenomena of if everybody loves something, it's going to get steadily worse, can stop. One of these things is having people in there who love what they're doing, and the main person who does this is Joss Whedon, who's a fan of what he does, which is why the writing doesn't get stale and it stays alive and fresh, because Joss Whedon loves it. And I think many of the writers for many of these main TV shows may just see it as a job and may just see it as they wanted to keep that job, so they write for the masses. So how do we get the big things with heaps of followings to stay good? You get people in there who are fans, who love what they do and love writing it, to create good writing, good shows that, yes, can include everybody, and more people will watch because it's good, not because it's just there. I really do think hipsters are onto something. I think we should listen to them more rather than just kick them out as a weird subgroup. Would I classify myself as a hipster? Well, I don't know exactly. I'm not really inclined to hate something just because it has a massively large follower base. I usually try to investigate it and see if I kind of like it. And I think I'm kind of in the middle, but kind of leaning towards more hipsterdom. And I think this is kind of what Kevin was trying to get at. Don't completely ignore something just because it has a massively large follower base. But don't just mindlessly get into that massively big follower base just because people like it. Investigate things, outline the reasons why you actually like something. And if there's something out there that you don't like, or you can't find something that you want to watch, create it yourself. Everybody's creative, and everybody can create something that is valuable and interesting, and get heaps of people involved in that. Basically, I'm trying to say that if something has a massively large follower base, it isn't necessarily good and it isn't necessarily bad, but it may be more inclined to be worse than other things that might not have as big as a following. Tell me your ideas down in the comments and we can discuss this more either here or over on Kevin's video. Have a wonderful week. You'll see me next week, and don't forget to be awesome.